If you think the British car industry only made giants like the Rolls-Royce and quirky classics like the Mini, then get ready to have your mind twisted like a spanner at a 1970s garage. A car that drove like a dream, had a powerful six-cylinder engine, self-leveling suspension, plush leather seats, and was built like a tank but got completely destroyed in sales by its own cousins. Welcome to the story of the Austin 3 Litre, a car that tried to be everything and somehow ended up being forgotten by everyone. This was a vehicle designed to challenge Jaguar and Rover, yet today most people don't even know it existed. It's like Austin created a secret masterpiece, then shoved it into the back of the garage and lost the keys. Smash that subscribe button like you're smashing a stubborn gearbox into reverse on a cold British morning, because what you're about to hear is one of the most underrated and shocking stories in British automotive history. And trust me, what happens at the end of this video will leave you wondering, how many other great cars were lost to the shadows? Let's start with the basics. The Austin 3 Litre debuted in 1967, with the goal of giving Austin a top-tier luxury saloon, a true flagship. But here's the weird thing, it didn't look like a flagship at all. It shared most of its body panels with the Austin 1800 Land Crab, a much smaller and more affordable car. So, at first glance, most people thought the 3 Litre was just a stretched Land Crab. Imagine walking into a store to buy a Rolex, but it looks like a Casio with leather straps. That's what buyers felt like. And because of that, many potential customers never even bothered to give it a test drive. But oh boy, if they had, they would have found something way more special. Because underneath that familiar face was a beast in disguise, and this next part proves it. This car wasn't playing around. It was powered by the 2.9-litre C-Series inline-six engine, an old-school workhorse tuned for smoothness and torque. It pumped out 125 horsepower and 170 lb-ft of torque, decent for the time, especially when paired with Austin's unique suspension tech. The car had a top speed of around 98 miles per hour and did 0-60 miles per hour in 14 seconds. Not a sports car, but definitely a cruiser. But here's the golden nugget. The hydroelastic suspension, which was fully independent and included a self-leveling rear system. It gave the Austin 3 Litre an almost hydraulic magic carpet feel on the road. Passengers described it as soothing, like floating on pudding. One motoring journalist wrote, "It's like being chauffeured in a private train cabin, only quieter." And you could even get it with power steering, an automatic transmission, a heated rear window and luxury upholstery. In short, it had the makings of a Rolls-Royce experience for half the price. So, what went wrong? You're about to find out. And it involves one of the biggest branding mistakes in automotive history. Here's the kicker. Instead of branding it as a new luxury nameplate or giving it a standout identity, Austin just slapped their regular badge on it. The 3 Litre name was vague, uninspiring, and didn't scream prestige. Compare that to names like Jaguar, Rover P5 or Mercedes-Benz 250. The Austin 3 Litre sounded like a drink size at the petrol station. And don't forget, it looked just like a car that cost far less. Buyers thought, why pay double for a car that looks like the one I already own? Even worse, there was no Vandenplas version at launch, no posh trim level to distinguish it. So in the eyes of the customer, the 3 Litre just looked like a bloated Land Crab with wood on the dash. Marketing completely failed this car. But just wait till you hear how British Leyland made things even worse behind the scenes. While the 3 Litre was still in production, British Motor Corporation, BMC, merged with Leyland Motors, forming the infamous British Leyland. Sounds exciting? Not really. It was like forcing Jaguar, Triumph, Austin, Rover and Morris to live in the same house, without deciding who paid the rent. Now get this, British Leyland already had multiple luxury cars in the pipeline, the Jaguar XJ6, the Rover P5B, even the Triumph 2000 was lurking in the shadows. So where did that leave the Austin 3 Litre? Nowhere. It didn't have the prestige of a Jaguar, the class of a Rover, or the sporty image of a Triumph. It became the unwanted stepchild of British Leyland, ignored at board meetings and outshone in the showrooms. Even worse, internal politics stopped any major investments in refreshing or promoting the car. It was basically left to die quietly. But there's more. Because behind the curtains, a secret version of the 3-litre was being developed that could have changed everything. Ever heard of the Austin 3-litre limousine? Not many have. Austin secretly built a long-wheelbase Vandenplas prototype designed to compete with official diplomatic cars. It had an extended rear cabin, fold-down tray tables, upgraded upholstery, and extra chrome fittings. Only a small number were ever built, and most were used for government or company use, never sold to the public. It's like Austin made a Rolls-Royce rival and just kept it to themselves. Talk about self-sabotage. Some say if British Leyland had pushed that limo to market, it might have gained traction with small embassies, VIP fleets, or even as a budget alternative to the Jaguar Sovereign. But alas, this ghost of a luxury limo vanished before it ever got the spotlight. And as the 1970s rolled in, something even sadder was about to happen. Sales were disastrous. Between 1967 and 1971, only 9,992 units of the Austin 3-litre were ever built. Compare that with over 5 million Minis, hundreds of thousands of Jaguars and Rovers. Even the widely mocked Austin Allegro sold way more. The factory eventually stopped producing it due to lack of demand, and dealers practically begged customers to take them off the lot. Some were even converted into ambulances or hearses, which is painfully symbolic of the car's fate. But today, that makes the 3-litre incredibly rare. Fewer than 200 examples are believed to still exist, and among classic car fans it's gained a cult following. Restored ones are praised for their smoothness, comfort, and surprisingly capable performance. It's the luxury cruiser that time forgot, but enthusiasts are starting to remember. And here's the beautiful irony. In today's market, a fully restored 3-litre can fetch more attention at a classic car show than a Jag, because while everyone has seen a Jaguar, almost no one has seen one of these. The Austin 3-litre was an ambitious attempt to build a British luxury saloon without the price tag or the badge snobbery. It had the engineering, the comfort, the heart, and even the humour of British car-making built into its bones. But thanks to poor marketing, internal politics and a bit of bad timing, it never got the love it deserved. Yet today, it's a symbol of an era when carmakers still took big risks, where ideas mattered more than market research, and where even a misunderstood failure could become a treasured classic. So next time you see one in the wild, give it a little nod of respect, because behind that wide grille and dated bodywork is a story of forgotten ambition, and a reminder that not every great car needs to be a great success. If you enjoyed this deep dive, drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget, subscribe to ABD Tech Lab for more forgotten legends, vintage car mysteries, and shocking automotive secrets. Hit that subscribe button like you're trying to get that stubborn bonnet to latch. This is ABD Tech Lab, where every car has a story, and every story keeps those wheels turning.